Welcome, everyone. My name is Susan Allan, and I am so excited to have you with us today for this very special event with my friend Peter No. And many of you are aware that he is one of the most successful brand partners in Lifewave. He is absolutely brilliant. And you're going to learn not only how he did it, you're going to learn how he does it. And he's going to be focused today specifically on family because the live show today is in the holiday season. And I've asked him to really speak about that. And I'll tell you what he has accomplished, and you'll know why having families, whether it's your own family or other people's whole families involved, is a really great idea to make a bigger difference to the world and also build a bigger business for yourself. So Peter is a senior presidential director in Lifewave. He reached the top of the compensation ladder so quickly, 5 months after he became a brand partner. And he's helped 7 families reach $6 million. No, I take that back. 6-figure incomes. But he's also helped people with $1 million. And he is doing unimaginably fantastically from a financial standpoint, because one of the things you'll learn about Peter is he knows his numbers. So this is a fascinating show because many of you have watched my shows with Marcy. Marcy uses a different mental focus to do her huge business. Peter's left-brained far more than Marcy. Marcy is much more right-brained. What is the good news about that? Wherever you are in the way you like to build, this is for you. And so you're going to learn from Peter today things that you have not heard on my show since, I guess it's about 2 years, Peter, since you did our show previously, right?
Wow, how much we have grown in the last 2 years.
And I want you to watch today's show, and I want you to watch the original show that is still on the YouTube channel that I've got. You can see what he has actually accomplished in 2 years. Okay, quickly. He has brand partners in 15 countries. He has over 34,000 people in his organization. Now, don't get depressed. Don't get anxious. Don't make yourself wrong. Peter, like Marcy, had been in direct marketing for 20 years. So he's an expert. But he wasn't always an expert. That's the point. And he's going to teach you today and teach me the key points of how he's accomplished it. So welcome, 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 Peter.
Thank you so much, Susan Allan. It is awesome to be back with you. And again, in the last 2 years, being with you since our last interview, but being here for 4 years, all I can say is that every single year things transform, you constantly evolve. But what a beautiful community we have built in the last 4 years. And thank you for just being here and interviewing us, documenting all our success, and really just highlighting all our leaders that are on your show every single week.
That means so much to me. You can hardly even imagine, Peter. I'm truly, truly touched and grateful that you knew exactly what I needed to hear. You see, in sales, you've got to really understand the person in front of you. And Peter just demonstrated that he's a genius, truly a genius in understanding what that person needs. In this case, it's me. So, first question, what is the one thing, Peter, you always say to a family member when you want them to learn about Lifewave, try Lifewave, and get excited about it?
Okay. Now, that could be an open ended question, as we all know, right? A family member, could be a blood family member, or it could be like a street sister, a street brother, somebody's very close to you that has known you since you were a childhood. So I've been blessed. I have beautiful family members, and I have really beautiful extended family members that I've built long-term relationships with. So every time, for the first time, when I do want to pique their interest, really help them understand what I'm involved with, I always let them always know that, and all my family members know that I've been in the direct sales industry for over 2 decades. But in the last 2 decades, I've always stuck around in the health world. I've always been in the health world, meaning the best supplements, the best technology and medical devices. I'm always in front of the trend of what's happening because a lot of companies approach me. So I get to see what's really out there. I get to compare. I get to look at more deeper as far as owners, CEO, how long they've been around, and just what really piques people's interest. And then when I do that, I let my friends or my family members know, hey, I really, I've done my homework. I've came across a company that is, creating a technology that is so exclusive for the world. And I've been in the industry for over 2 decades now. I think I might have something that could really resonate or help you with what is going on with you, or what do you need. So then going with that, I always pique my interest. Where are you at today? And are you open to hear what is really out there in this world? So when you approach a family member like that, because you have a warm market, it all depends on how you've been approaching your family members, right? So if your family members know that you're like a mechanic, or you're a school teacher or something, right? And you all of a sudden transition into the health world, that is kind of a different type of approach. But for the question for myself, because my family know I've been in health world and sales world, when I call someone, they really know, hey, Peter might have something very important for me. So that's how I pique my family's interest. And that could be my sister or all my brothers and sisters that are out there that I've known for a very long time. And fortunately, Susan Allen, a lot of my viewers here tonight, they'll probably hear on. My friends, my sisters, my brothers, they've been with me for a long time. So they do trust what I share or what I discover.
Perfect, perfect. And when you know that somebody has health issues,
Mm.
can you give us a kind of a generic 3, 4 sentences that you find you go back to again and again, Peter?
When I know someone has a specific issue, okay, a specific disease or a specific challenge, I really always, the first thing I always have to know, do you know how you got there? If that person doesn't know how they got diabetes or high blood pressure, or it's their diet, or it's what they eat, or is what they drink, right? If they don't know where the problem is, and if you cannot listen to that problem and understand it, then, and if you don't know how to communicate your solution, then there will never be a transaction. So again, sales is listening to the problem and having a solution. We have the solution. We know our technology in phototherapy, in these wearable technology patches. We know that it's going to activate certain things that will help the body. But does that person in front of you know that? And then do they even know how they got there? Because if they don't know that they got there because of inflammation, because of things that they're taking, or their stress, or their work, or their lifestyle, then even if you give them a solution, sometimes they're blocked, mentally blocked, or they do not value your solution because they don't want to be healed, or they're not open to that. So again, it always comes back to the first thing. Can you pique their interest to help them open up their minds to understand how they got there? Once they got there, then let me give you the solution, and then from there we can start the dialogue. Same thing if you had an issue and you went to the doctor. What is the doctor going to do? He's going to ask you questions to diagnose you. Once he diagnoses you, he's just going to write a prescription and take you to the pharmacist, and then they're going to prescribe you a solution, which we all know it's not a solution, but that's their solution.
That's the best they got. Now, that's really brilliant. How do you think you got there? Is a question I have never heard, Peter. I've been in sales for longer than most people have been alive. And I've been teaching sales for that long. And this is genius. I'm saying this from a professional standpoint. That question, how do you think you got there? That is genius. I wrote it down. I am using it starting today. No kidding, you know? It's extraordinary.
It's simple languaging too, because again, we cannot be somebody else we're not. So we're talking about family. You have family dialogue. Hey, Peter, what are you up to these days? What do you have? Da, 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 da. Hey, what's going on with you, John? Hey, wow, you're going through this? How do you think you got there? How do you know? What have you been doing in the last 5 years? How's your diet? How's your lifestyle? So that's how you slowly dissect and let them see how they got there. And then from there, that will open up the dialogue. And then if they respect or trust your, your technology or what you have for them, then you start pre-qualifying them by showing them our tools. And we can go into that too.
That's really fantastic. Okay, give us an example, Peter, of like a wonderful win with either a family member or an extended family member, please.
I have a good one. About maybe 2 years ago, I had a distant cousin who was in direct sales, and she was with another supplement company. And she heard through my mom that I was very successful in this company, and she called me for some advice. And as I talked to her, I asked her all these questions too. Why did you join this company? What got you excited? Why do you believe that this technology is the future? So I started to ask her a lot of deeper questions, and then when I did, she started to really it started to pique her interest, like how come we know so much, or why am I asking her these questions? And as she answered it, then I piqued her interest. I did not tell her what Lifewave was, what our patches were. I just wanted to pique her interest. So my advice to everyone is, when you talk to families, just listen a lot, right? Get all the information. Why are they doing the things they're doing, or why they're excited in what they found? Then once you know that, then you can give a comparison. Hey, so what happened to her? Her name is Chu. She got so excited. Then I started to invite her into our programs, meaning I showed her our website. I showed her our podcast, our testimonial podcast. And then from there, she started to really peak and go, wow, this could be the future. This could be this technology I've never heard before. Well, then they can go back and compare to what they're doing. And then from there, it took a couple of weeks, but as she learned about our community, as she started to listen to our testimonials, and she started to do her comparison of cost factors, the company, how big we are, all these little benefits started adding up. And then she made her own decision to take our product. And then from there, as the weeks went on, she had more results using our technology than she did using her supplements that she's been maybe using for years. So, to answer that question is just, I always, again, like to peak and pre-qualify. Doesn't matter if they're family member or not, but I like to listen and always find out why they're doing and why they're making decisions. And because we're constantly evolving in this health space. And what we do teach here in our community is really peak and pre-qualify constantly to get the right answers so you can give the right solution for that person. And then from there, the tools have to take over. And then from there, that person has to make a decision for themselves. It's not something you convinced, not something that you sold or pushed into. And that to me is pretty much the old ways of how network marketing has been done, or, or we're transitioning out of this because we've proven to the world now that you can literally build the largest organization without posturing, without convincing, and without even talking about, money in a sense or income claims, because we're so organically focused on the technology.
And before the next question, would you all make sure that you're muted? Because I'm hearing something in the background. Just be sure. Thank you. Good. Thanks. Whoever it was, I appreciate it. Okay. The next question, Peter, is about family members or anyone, of course, who's older. I looked for a product that was going to create a de-aging miracle, was my language for it. Something that was going to turn back the clock. In 2020, that's what I was looking for. And my dear local friend, Carol Lazar, who's a few years older than me, called me. I've been asking for it, visualizing it, all that stuff. And she called me after a couple of days and she told me, I have something amazing. You really need this. I said, sure, sure, sure. She came over and I saw her walking up the stairs and she was literally glowing.
Mm.
She was glowing and I was not glowing. To be honest. I said, okay, I want to be glowing. What is it? And if you've seen my shows, you can look at my shows starting, all the way back 50 shows ago. Not so much glowing. I'm telling the truth. And you can see it gets better and better and better. So when you talk to an older person with aches and pains, or just because they'll get them, it's an age thing for a lot of people. What do you tell them, Peter?
The first thing I do again is I really go into the stem cells. I really want them to understand you're older now. You're like a car that has 100,000 miles on it without a tune-up or an oil change. So let's go back to how did we get there? Let's go back when you're a baby. So I like to really open up the conversation with what really have you heard or understand about stem cells? And did you know, let's go back when you're a baby. Did you have those wrinkles? Did you have those gray hairs? Did you have those um, dark spots? Did you have those pains? No, because you were constantly producing a lot of your own peptides and stem cells, right? But as we get older, now, how old are you now? 60, 70, 80, 90? That's because now all that production is gone. So the moment they get that aha moment, because I can tell you, many people just think aging is just a process. It is a process, but they don't know why or how we're aging. Many people don't know how we're aging. So if you get right to that conversation, and I want them to know you're aging because you're not turning on these things anymore. You're not getting a tune up every day. Would you be open to hear something that can reverse that process? The moment they know how it works, like why am I aging, and the moment they can hear I have a solution for that, it's pretty much open conversation after that. But how you deliver it, how you say it, that connection, again, it comes down with trust. Are they open to, they're sitting in front of you, so how are you resonating, communicating with them?
That is so perfect, Peter. And any of you who've watched my shows, I don't usually say that. I can't think of a time I said that until just now. That is perfect because it combines the science and the technology for which Lifewave is astounding. There's nothing like David Schmidt, you know, genius inventor that he is. And you combine it with the empathy of communicating what is urgent and essential to your listener. Oh, fabulous, really fabulous. I'm going to memorize a lot of what you've said, Peter, and we've got a lot more show to do. Okay, so let us now imagine that one of these people, a relative or a relative of a relative, etc., or a expanded network of that you know, they love the products and they really, really told you, or you got a sense that they need a new business or they need a new income stream. Or even if that's the first thing they tell you, well, if it's good, it's going to be good for me. I'm interested because I need to make more money. How do you address that?
Great. You know, I'm happy you're open to have a transition or open to do something more. Let me ask, then I go right into another quick question. I really want to know where they are at in their life, meaning what what's their job? What job are they doing? How much time do they have available in a week to add on something, whether it's a spare time, extra 3 to 5 hours, or part time, extra 5 to 10 hours a week? That is really important to understand because everyone sometimes in the beginning they get excited. Like, for example, they saw somebody else who has a beautiful body, then they get excited, they want to go to the gym, but they don't factor in how much time to go to the gym, your nutritional change, your body's aching and the soreness to recover from that, your lifestyle change. There are factors. Same thing when you want to add something onto your life. There are factors, whether you want to get a part-time job, you want to go back to school, right? Changes in life means changes in time. So I teach this constantly all the time on our training calls, what I call breakfast, lunch, and dinner, where we can really understand how to prioritize or what to work on during those times in the day. So I like to know, number one, if you're interested, awesome. What do you know about the industry? Number one, if you like that, meaning residual income, build something spare time, be nomadic, meaning your whole business can be built on your phone. You can be all around the world. You can constantly, and this is not a selling process, it's an educational process. So if you're ready for that, how much time you have in a week so I can understand how to work with you, how to be your coach, how to be your bodybuilder, right? We got to spot each other through this process. And then let's do this for the first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. It does take that 90-day commitment. You know how to build a habit, right? Because again, people can come in, they get excited, but then that excitement can wear off once reality hits. The beautiful thing here, though, is because we have such a strong community that is already doing this constantly. We have like college students all the way down to 101-year-old partners, right? There's all walks of life here. So when somebody comes into our training calls where there's hundreds of people on there and they look at everybody's faces and they can resonate, go, wow, if this person looks like they're serious, I can do this. If this person can say it, I can do this, right? And then I also like to matching them up. Like if my sister's an accountant, I like to find an accountant that's doing a business, right? If my sister's a nurse, I like to find a nurse, or I like to resonate, touch with people. And as you know, I've been doing my beauty podcast because I come from a beauty background. So I like to now connect beauty professionals with beauty professionals because once you resonate and they're like, oh, why is this person putting time into this program? Because they want the same thing that everybody else does, which is we all want health, we all want more time, and we all want more freedom, whether it's personal freedom or financial freedom. We want those three things. So is your job, is what you're doing right now in the last 2 to 3 years giving you those three benefits: the best health, the best time, and the best financial freedom? If it's not, what are you going to do in the next 2 to 3 years to get those three things that you deserve? And if you don't have it yet, come to my podcast. Let me invite you to my community. Let me introduce you to others who were in the same position as you 2, 3 years ago, but look at what they've done now. And that's why when you go to our website, you can look at our leadership board. You can see anywhere from Carol McDonald, who's our, SPD, who's 80 years old, right? Down to our youngest SPD. And I don't know if I'm the youngest. No, I think there's more younger SPDs than me, but we got some young SPDs in there. We got young leadership here, right? So there's a lot of even like down to Dr. Stacy's son, right? Trent, he's building this business. So even April's son's building this business. So there's generational wealth now being developed. And one day we can talk about a compensation plan where you can see how the first, second, and third generations actually are building our eco economy within our own families. So this is generational wealth that we're developing.
It certainly is. And by the way, Peter and anyone watching, I have been looking for a fabulous veterinarian to have on our show. I've worked with and have had a lot of shy veterinarians in my own downline.
I
So
know.
please find me a brave, courageous one who's camera ready, please. Okay.
Okay, we will definitely get veterinarians in the house here.
And I definitely want Carol McDonald at 80 to come on if she's up for it, because this is, baby boomers, of which I am one. And so this is a whole other huge opportunity. We don't want to have, I have a list of people who have already dropped like flies in my life.
Okay.
Not fun, not fun. And I am getting younger and healthier and more energetic and, having a better hairdo all the time, every month. So I want to really make sure that everybody has that same benefit, because it's a great way to end your life healthy and happy, as opposed to what else is an option. Okay. Now, next question. So, Peter, I want to make sure you tell everybody where they can find what you're going to refer to, your podcast, etc. How do you begin with a new brand partner? Just give us a little bit of a taste, so people who are listening understand this is for you too. This is not for some imaginary person who's going to become a senior presidential director. This is for any of us.
Okay, and this is my favorite topic again. I train this all the time on my In the Know with Peter No. And just when I bring on someone, and now it's a little different than before, because 4 years ago, we really did not have all these tools. So as we're growing year by year by year by year, Susan, you can see our tools are just getting better and better and more effective and more targeted. And we can literally pinpoint every step of the way what a brand new partner will see and feel, all the way from the first 30 days, all the way to the first 12 months, and on and on and on. So, again, the first thing I always want to make sure is once they join us, they have to be peaked. They have to be pre-qualified. They're already in, ready to go. Then what I do is I give them homework, meaning I give them about an hour a week of my time. It could be split up in 30 minutes private training. Through that 1 hour, the first week, I go over our system, right? And our system, everybody knows, it's 333 PPP: peak, pre-qualify, and packages, right? The three stands for, can you talk and pique three people's interest a day? Can you do that a half an hour a day? Then can you follow up with those 3 people that you've peaked with? How do you pre-qualify them, right? Are you going to the podcast? So first thing I do let everybody know is join me on the podcast for the first week before you even make a long list, right? Once you start getting on the podcast, names will come up with you. So I give them a whole week, join the podcast, join our trainings. It's like, hey, Susan, you want to work out? Join me online. Let's work out together and let's see the class first. Then that first week, it really warms them up. It's like kind of like a prerequisite, right? To get to accounting 101, you got to get to accounting 102. Let's go to accounting 101, see the whole day, what the week looks like. Then once they go through that whole week and they've given 3 hours, let's just say they showed up for all the podcasts, they went to a couple of trainings, they are immersing themselves. They're literally learning online with or without me. Now, the magic word, everyone, is with or without me. Because the moment that you show them these tools, the moment I show you these tools, Susan, and you're like, wow, this was a week. I hung out a couple hours. I absorbed this much information and I actually got it. So then by the end, the starting of the next week, then the list will start coming out, right? Hey, let's now start going through your list. What questions do you have on the 333? What questions do you have on the PPP? Let's role play this. So it's literally a private gym time training. You're my brand new workout buddy. I got to understand how, again, your timing, your nutrition, your lifestyle. Same thing here. Let's hang out, see my community. If you like this, now let's start working together. So from that point on, they make a list. Second week, we go through the list and they start doing the 333, 222, 111. And I always use this phrase, fail forward fast. Okay, fail forward fast. Because they will be making mistakes for the first 3 people, 6 people, 9 people, or 12, correct? That you cannot blow through your database. So I called your database your relationships, which are called treasures. It took you years to dig out and develop these treasures. Now you got to protect that treasure by not burning through that relationship the wrong way. For example, in the past, we've been told, oh, you're excited? You're joining me? Let's join now. Let's make that list today and let's make that call. That is the worst thing to me you can do, honestly, because it's like saying, you're working out? You want to work out? Let's go to the gym. We're going to work out 5 hours the first day, and the next day you won't even be walking anymore because you will be so sore, and then you will not want to go to the gym again. It's the same behaviors or what we call analogies, and I learned that from my brother Eric. Okay, we talk about it all the time. And he's a bodybuilder, so we use these analogies because again, it's human behavior. So second week, make that list, start connecting, start peaking, pre-qualifying, peaking, pre-qualifying. What happens the second and third week, it doesn't even matter because the moment they go through that behavior, they actually do it. The moment they enroll the very first person, Susan, they done it. You did that push-up. You did that sit-up. Once you know how to do that push-up and sit-up, can you do it again? Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. And the beautiful thing here with the Lifewave compensation plan is it is not bonus driven. It's not money driven. Ranks only define how many people you help here. So when you become a manager and you enroll your first 4 people, how many people did it took to get your first people? Did you have to talk to 10, 15, 20, 30? Get it? The more people you talk to get your first 4 people to become a manager, that's how many times you have to fail forward fast to. But if you get it right away, so maybe it might only take you 10 people because you're so good at listening and following and duplicating. So everything happens within the first 30 days, I can tell. After the 30 days, if there's no more activity, or they didn't really take it too serious, and that's a family member, great. There's nothing lost because we managed each other's expectation down to the T. There is no gotchas here, right? You can't be surprised at anything that we're saying because it's already proven. Then after 30 days, if I see that person running by themselves, that means they already know what the gym looks like. They already became a manager. They know every schedule of the podcast, and they're plugging in themselves, and they're bringing more people to that gym. Then I know, okay, that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, it will be constantly growth. And we've seen that over and over and over again. The moment you get a great fast start, meaning you've done it right the first 90 days. And I always love to have people take a picture of before and after too, because you cannot deny while you're building your business that your body is changing, your face is changing, your skin is changing, right? So while they're learning about the business, they're transforming right now. So they're getting the best health benefit, and at the same time they're creating wealth. But the beautiful thing here is you cannot create wealth if you don't have a health experience here. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot posture this, right? You have to physically have a story, share it, and then from there, you can create that wealth by sharing that story. And we've done that really, really well here. Very organic. And again, we don't posture with income claims because that's not what this organization is about. But we really focus on testimonials, really personal stories that should pique everyone's interest. And then from there, we can take you through that system. So it's that first 30 days to me that's very, very important. It's like dating, right? You would know after you date someone, maybe after, well, maybe you might not, but I hope everybody in first 30 days, after your date, if you're going to go for many more dates or not.
Well, that's my world, unless it's a bad operator and they're trying to put something over on you. So, so you have to, it's a little bit subtle with dating. But in the case of Lifewave, it is exactly as advertised. The products are amazing. The company is amazing. I've never seen a company in my life that has a quality of products like this, that delivers like this, that pays like this, that has customer service like this, that gives commissions at the percentage that it does of every dollar earned. I've never seen this in my life. And believe me, I've looked. So it's remarkable. So that takes all the back end problems away. Now, the next question. Encouraging someone who has a chronic problem, whatever it may be, usually pain is part of it, to use the products consistently enough. Now, we know that David Schmidt, the inventor, says you want to use the patches for at least 1 month for every 10 years you've been alive. So that's a good thing to remind them. What else do you say, Peter?
I always like to, obviously, to motivate people, you sometimes have to go through their pain spots. So right away, if they're already in that much pain, they have that much issues, challenge. How long again are you suffering through this pain? How long are you living with this? And again, what if I can prove to you that there is a solution, not show you, prove to you that there's a solution. And our system, we have thousands and thousands of every issue testimonial there is. And then once I prove to you, would you give this enough time for yourself because it took you 10 years to get to this pain level? Would you give it another year of total commitment, which I can prove to you that you're going to spend less, you're going to get major effectiveness right away, And the long-term play is that what if this issue resolves itself or regenerates itself or repairs itself? And do you want that? That's it.
Perfect.
It's
Perfect.
simple as that. Let's get into a wholesale pack. This whole program can cost you less than $5 a day, but you're already spending $20 a day on medications and this and that and acupuncture and surgery. And I cannot imagine how many surgeries we prevented. I can imagine how many medications we have people help to get off. Can you imagine just in the hundreds of millions of dollars in the last 4 years with over 80,000 of our brand partners under Marcy that we have probably helped. We're opening up the medical system. We're lessening the medical system. We're putting less burden on the medical system, and we're taking back all that power and control. And Lifewave is actually rewarding us 50% of what we spend back into our community's pockets. I don't see no doctor giving me back 50% of my mom's drugs. I don't see my surgeon giving back 50% of that surgery cost back to my client, my friend, right? That had hip surgery or knee surgery, or it's just mind-boggling to see how simple things are, but the world and our governments and our system have just made it too complicated and confusing for us to just think very clearly of simplicity. And I cannot, how easier can it get than to just peel something off and just explain light? This is phototherapy. It's light technology, but get ready for the next level of technologies, which is non-invasive, right? We're here dealing with activating your own light. So I don't know how much more easier it gets than this, Susan. If they don't get it from that point on, if they don't buy it or they don't take their own initiative steps, and over here, $300, you can get started on a simple package and you're well on your way already to get well, right? But if you don't even make that initial investment, then after my time, that's all we have. And then after that, good luck. Keep on living with your issues, or good luck. You're going to get well. You're going to get both good lucks from me.
Beautiful. Thank you. And so there are a couple of different things that are important here. There's the consistency factor that you built a downline of 34,000 people over days, weeks, months, and just a few years, but you did it with consistency. And it is essential in building any business, and it's essential in transforming any kind of health to be committed to consistency. And that's my question, but before I have you answer that, I do want those of you who don't know that it took me 10 minutes with 2 Eon patches to eliminate excruciating pain that 3 chiropractors could not eliminate. So I want you to hold out that understanding. We're not saying that every single person who is in pain today needs to go through a huge process of weeks or months or years. Some may. It took 10 minutes. So if you don't already have my Word document with 14 pain relief options that I've gathered from all my guests, and I'm gathering new ones all the time, be sure to email me, susan@susanallan.org, and it's ALLAN, and I will answer you personally and send it to you personally. Nothing else I love doing more. Okay, so consistency, Peter. Now in building the business, how do you encourage people not to give up, not to lose hope, to keep at it?
Consistency comes from the beginning stages, how you work with that brand new partner. How you get them into the gym, how you how do you understand them, get to know them, and then from there, leadership takes over. Because when you see consistency has to start from the top down. If the leaders are not creating the next training of the month, flavor of the month, there is no confusion. If we're not constantly pushing for you to do more than you have to, meaning push ranks, push volume, month end, restart, all these little, all these little behaviors makes a huge difference on how the top leadership communicates with their leaders and their leaders and their leaders. It is actually the hardest thing to keep a messaging and an organization all on the same page constantly. It's the hardest thing to do, especially once you get to this level of brand partners. And by February of next year, Susan, we'll be hitting our 100,000th brand partner. 100,000 partners have joined under Marcy. So to be consistent, we always have to communicate. We always have to look out for the team, meaning whatever is best for the team. We always have to keep consistent, meaning our training, do not change anything. And then we mold in with the company. As the company adjusts, we adjust with the company. But our leadership style, the way that we do our breakfast, lunch, and dinner with our team Evolve, the way that Marcy has structured our start333biz.com with the back end, the way our calendar is structured, the way that our podcast, the timing of our podcast, all the leaders that are presenting on our daily podcast, and big kudos out to them. They know who they are. It's not just Peter and Marcy rolling this thing. It's an entire organization. And we are now at over 101 senior presidential directors, and executive directors within Team Evolve. That is that is probably the highest in the record of Lifewave, in the history of Lifewave. There has never been a group, or maybe I believe the Japanese group, they're huge, okay? But I don't think there's ever been a group this big outside of Japan, and we're only 4 years old. Always remember,
Exactly. That's
4-year-old.
a huge, right. That's a huge, huge thing.
Yes. And now to touch a base on a 4-year-old team that has been consistently growing every single month for the last 48 months. There has never been a time we're not a yo-yo. Our volume is a constant growth, whether we're growing 1%, 5%, or 10% month over month over month. We can prove all those numbers on our back office because, again, this is a binary. And what we do is we really count from Marcy down because we have brought in, I don't even know how many tens of millions of volume, probably over 60, 70 million points to the company already. And this is a binary. So, all that volume goes up, right? Everybody gets to see our team and what we do if you're in direct of this lineage. So, and again, consistency starts from the top down. We've been the best at it because we're not a yo-yo team. We don't posture. We don't hype things up. We don't make any claims, income claims, anything that is not possible. And our teams, they know that. They can actually recognize how other teams operate, and they can really recognize what is right and what is really not working because we train our teams so good and we're so transparent because we're very honest. We train a manager the same way as a SPD because the manager one day will be that SPD. So we all treat everybody the same, and that's what makes us so unique and very different in the industry space. Not even in Lifewave, very different in the whole network marketing industry as a whole. Because I talk to industry leaders constantly. You know how this whole world now is, companies are going into affiliated programs now. And we all know that it's great, but network marketing is built to reward leaders to lead organizations. Affiliate programs and influencers, I apologize, will never lead organizations, and they will actually hurt companies because they boggle down a lot of the systems because they cannot support their teams the way that leaders will hands-on support their teams, like even be customer service for our teams. And that's not what we're seeing. But you know, the industry is changing, but that's why I love David Schmidt. He's going to stick with his ground. He's going to reward us for leading and building relationships, which are treasures, which we all know that is the heart and gold of this industry. We just have to consistently commit to it and be the team and be the organization and be the company that will change and keep that will keep this the same and don't change because of trends or things that people are doing. And this whole industry now, Susan, we can see it's going on a downturn again. But how can a downturn industry and an upturn Lifewave just take over now?
Everything that David does that I've been aware of is brilliant.
Hmm.
You know, this guy is like the Einstein of most industries, certainly not just direct marketing. But since we only have about 10 more minutes in the show, I have one really crucial question, Peter, that I know everybody will want to hear for decades to come. What is the one thing not to do if you want a family member or a friend to really try the products, have an open mind about Lifewave?
I think we all know the simple answer to this, but it's just, how would you feel if someone just came to you and just pushed information to you, forced you to look at something, overpromised the world, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread? We know the gambit. My best advice is don't say and don't do something that you wouldn't do for yourself. How
That
would you
for
recruit
sure.
yourself, right? So I actually asked this question to all my teams. Would you recruit yourself? Would you sell yourself? How would you sell yourself if you were to look at something? And if you don't like that feeling or you can't answer that, that is the answer. That is the question you just got to keep on asking until you come to this answer where you feel so good. So when I approach people, the first thing is just it's human touch, right? We got to learn how to resonate and just open up the person to talk, right? You cannot have them block you. Blocking is, again, a frequency, whether it's pushing, shoving, convincing, those stuff, okay? Hyping, that stuff is not here, okay? And I even say this now because, again, we're partners to each other. Marcy and I are responsible for over 80,000 partners now. If Marcy and I are doing something that is turning people off, if Marcy and I are constantly hyping, pushing, overselling or over promising things as leaders, and those numbers or those expectations don't come into fruition, we are letting our teams down. We are letting them see that maybe we're not leading the right way, right? And that's why that consistency question is so great, because what we've done is just keep it consistent where everybody gets to see the finish line. They get to see what it feels like to graduate. They get to see results. They don't have to be somebody else that they're not. They don't have to talk about things that they don't know about because tools have been done for you. So you see where we're going with this, Susan? It starts from the top down, and I'm I'm still seeing the industry as some leaders have not adapted or changed, and they've just taken their old styles and continuing that way. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people that are hurt, or they get hurt in this industry because of that. So we say it, we call it out. We really want to change, upgrade, evolve the industry, and it takes each one of us, each one of you, to take your own responsibility. Make sure you know who you're learning from, make sure you know who you're duplicating, and make sure you know what organizations that you want to be part of, right? That is you, that can resonate with you. So that's the only way we're responsible. And the beautiful thing about this compensation plan, David only says he only requires for you to have two key people in your life to make that difference. If you can identify and develop two people that want health, time, and freedom just like you, then all three of you will get it. That is the beauty of this program. That is the beauty of Lifewave, where everyone who wants it can succeed and get it. But again, it's your responsibility to make sure that you're in the right place and find the right people to work with. So that's the learning process. That's the beauty of it. We have people graduate here in a year. We have people graduate here in 4 years. It does not matter. Graduation is graduation. But you only graduate when you can help two other people graduate with you. So
And there are all these different incremental levels where you get more benefits, you get more commissions, you get a pin each time, or at least I did, which was really fun. I was surprised, The most important thing, Peter, is that you've shown us exactly how to do it, because you've shown us and described how you're doing it. So tell everybody your website, tell everybody where they can find your podcast, please.
okay, if you like to see our team website, it is called startx39now.com. Startx39now.com. You can see everything from our technology to David Schmidt to all our product lines to all our recordings. Everything is on that one site to pique your interest. Once you become a partner with us, you just go to start333biz.com, biz.com. You get to see our whole schedule, our whole back office. You get to see how we operate, how we train. Once you get into that website, you can plug into our Facebook page, our Telegram page. You can see all our tools. We have scripts. We have everything turnkey from A through Z. Okay, we are truly, truly I can use as a vertically integrated team. We have done everything from the ground up. We've taken away every responsibility that a brand new partner needs to do, and we just teach behaviors. Okay, we teach the right behaviors on how to change your life, move forward with this business, and from that point on, it just takes time. It takes time for you to change yourself, discover yourself, be the best version of yourself. And I can truly say, I'll leave this call with this. If somebody really wants to change their life, it does not take 10 years, 5 years, 3 years. It doesn't even take 2 years. 1 full year. 1 full committed year. 52 weeks of constant breakfast, lunch, and dinner, building, leveraging, and duplicating tools. If you can do that with us, we can promise you, take a picture before, take a picture a year later, take a picture of your bank account before, take a picture of your bank account a year later, take a picture of everything that you have to document how much you have grown. And I only can say this because it took me 5 years to really change everything I've done before that. For the first 15 years, I've done it wrong. It took me my last 5 years to get it right. But within that, that 1 year was that very special year. So it takes that first year just to get that plane off the ground. So it's a beautiful journey, everyone. I wish everyone would join direct sales or be part of it or learn this kind of lifestyle. And again, it's the three things that we're enjoying today: health, become the best health of yourself; time, have more time for yourself, balance yourself out; and freedom. Once you have time, what are you going to do with that freedom, right? So I think everybody resonates with that around the world. Whoever's watching this, just know that you have this chance in the life to take over, control.
Thank you so, so much. Gosh, what a fabulous, fabulous show. And this show will be posted on my YouTube channel, thanks to David, my IT genius, in about 7 days. And that is youtube.com/Susan Allan 2001. Remember, it's ALLAN. And again, if you want the 14 pain relief protocols, I don't care what part of the organization you're in or not in, doesn't matter to me. Just send me an email, susan@susanallan.org. I'd love to send it to you. And we want to make sure you're with us next month. It's usually the second Thursday at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. We did a special thing this week because it was such an honor and is such an honor to have you with us, Peter. Just fabulous, fabulous. And we look forward to any of your questions. You'll send them to me, and I'll see if it's possible to have my very next guest answer them. And have a wonderful, wonderful holiday, everybody. Thank you so much. And if you haven't ever used Lifewave, get with the person who invited you to this broadcast and ask them, how can you have this amazing, amazing, amazing product line that changed my life, changed Peter's life, changed what will soon be 100 million people's lives.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye-bye. Thank
Bye.
you.